I would bet that we all have thoughts on this. I think that building on top of someone else's platform is a good idea if you have your eyes wide open. And I think that you should expect eventually the platforms that you're building on top of to do something that's not going to be in your interest. And so if you're doing it as a way to quickly get into the market, establish a user base, and then give you the ability to go build a direct relationship with your consumers off of that platform, then that's a good strategy. But if you're doing it as a way just to stay on that platform forever, one day you might wake up and find out that the owner of that platform is competing with you, and that sucks. And so as an investor, we encourage our companies to avoid that all the time. And there are a couple of instances where people have made it work. Probably the best example is Zynga, which we're an investor in. I think what happened with Zynga is that they just got so big and so important economically to Facebook, and also developed an expertise that was pretty orthogonal to what Facebook's expertise was in and around specifically gaming, that they were able to secure a place in that world and not have that happen to them. But I think that's the exception that proves the rule in my mind, and I think you should always expect the platforms that you build on over time, the platforms you build on over time are going to do something that's not in your interests.
I think it's particularly pertinent, like today you watched the Apple stuff. I thought by far the most aggressive they've been in building apps that replaced existing apps. So they probably have some in the New York Times had a list of 15 apps that were kind of used by Apple. And I think what you see this trend over time, which is that platforms start off really focusing on the core infrastructure, and then as that gets built out, they start sort of what I would call subsuming apps that they might see as being valuable for various reasons, maybe whether it be controlling the user experience or monetizing. Personally, I think it's much safer to build on platforms that have an established business model, because you sort of have some predictability into what their interests are going to be. If you're Angry Birds, you pretty much know Apple wants to take 30% of your revenue, and that's about it. They're not going to try to build. The other thing is, as Fred said, is not to do something in someone's core capabilities. So you feel pretty confident Facebook's not going to go into gaming or something like that. It doesn't feel like the Facebook kind of thing, although you never know.